rubbing his bare thighs.
We're in public. Today, me and my friend Connor sought out to find the newly released Mo Dao Zu Shi Book 4.
This is the book that has the sex scene in it.
Grandmaster Demon 3.
No, it's the fourth one. You should read this. 0! Pourquoi? Are we gonna have to go to Coles again?
We were gonna have to go to Coles again.
Wait a minute. We're in the mall right now. This is a public place. And I'm about to show you something nuts. Some literal nuts. Pretty sure it happens after the excruciating death scene. Oh, here we go.
Moments later, Connor and I would have successfully fulfilled our mission and were able to head home.
So do you wanna like go get a coffee?
Happy family. I hope nothing bad happens to them.
What's up guys, it's Kictor, and we need to look at this amazing cover, all the art inside, because some good shit happens in this book, as you may have seen from the intro. But starting off with the cover. Okay, look at this. We've got Wangji hanging out with a little black bunny in his lap, which is the representation of Wuxian. Wuxian has a little white bunny in his lap, which is obviously Wangji. But the most important takeaway in this cover is that Wuxian is holding on to Wangji's headband. The sacred Lansect headband that only your soulmate and lover is allowed to touch. Wei Ying has Lan Zhan's self-control wrapped around his finger. If that's not symbolism, I don't know what is. Wangji's got a little blush, it looks like. Zoom in those cheeks. He's definitely not pulling away or angry or concerned like he was on the other covers. From the looks of it, one might think Wangxian'S doing pretty good in this book. You're wrong. I just finished reading the ending of it. There's some other really nice details, like there's a lot of lotus-themed things with the Zheng sect because a very monumental scene takes place for the Zheng family, for Zheng Cheng, my husband. He is actually on the back, and in the front cover, there's a gorgeous shot of him with Yanli and little baby Jinling. Zheng Cheng's expression is tumultuous. You know, we've got the happy lovers on one side and then the family on the other, and if you know what happens, it is very upsetting. But he's got his whip, and there's a lot of these little lotus motifs around. Quite beautiful, actually. I really like the art style. But then, if you flip the page, there is another artist, Idol D. And this style is really cool. I really, really like it. There's a nice little family dinner with Ayuan and Wuxian and Wangji. And Ayuan has little toys that, you know, rich Gaga Wangji buys for him, which is a really, really sweet thing. Wuxian has a deep V going on. He's kind of showing off that brand he's got. But Wangji looks at peace. He's looking at Wuxian while Wuxian's looking at Ayuan. And they're eating together, and it looks like they're eating spicy food, which is not Wangji's favorite. But it's a nice little illustration, despite what happens to all of them. But let's stop acting professional. We all know why we're here. The ending scene of this book does include the bathtub scene. And something that is very cool about this is that it's a full-on uncensored sex scene in English. I'm gonna read as far as I can before I start to think that it's too much to show on my YouTube channel. And of course, with that scene, we also are so lucky to have received interior art illustration of the bathtub kiss. Wangji's abs just out on display like that, Wuxian all over him. This scene, the tension is so palpable between them. It is this push and pull that they have been at each other for 4 whole books now, for a lifetime for Wangji. There's a moment where Wuxian really has this like reflection of like, Wangji, Lan Zhan, how do you see me? Like, do you like me? Like, Wuxian's coming to his senses about his own feelings and wants Lan Zhan to return them. So it's a really emotional, romantic moment. It's not just like insane burning passion and they bang. Like, this is a deeply romantic novel. That being said, we're gonna read the sex scene. This absolute palpable frustration finally comes to a breaking point. So I'm gonna read that point. Essentially, Wangji is drunk and he's kind of being a little bit of a brat. Like, he's in the bathtub and he's being silly, and Wuxian's kind of like, okay, like, let's get you washed up. And Wangji's like, no. So Wuxian's like, okay, I'm gonna wash you. And when he goes to wash him, Wangji then says, stop touching. And Wuxian was like, but you like it when I touch you, and then grabbed his dick. Poor thing, Wei Wuxian thought, seeing him sitting so quietly and obediently in the bathtub. He was about to hook a finger under his chin to tickle him, but Lan Wangji grabbed hold of his wrist before his hand reached him. Wei Wuxian had already inflicted innumerable playful acts of the sort on Lan Wangji tonight and had grown accustomed to him submissively accepting them. He had yet to realize what was happening when he was suddenly caught and stopped. "Stop touching," Lan Wangji said, his voice deep. There were still transparent water droplets on the contours of his handsome, refined face, even a few on his eyelashes. His expression seemed cold as ice, but his gaze was so hot it burned. The alcohol he had ordered tonight was indeed too potent, it seemed. Wei Wuxian was feeling feverish. "Stop?" he asked. "Why? Haven't you been letting me touch you for a long time?" Lan Wangji pursed his lips tightly shut and said nothing. His grip on Wei Wuxian's wrist did not loosen. It would seem he was insistent on the matter. Wei Wuxian's lips curled up at the corner, and he chuckled softly. "Considering the state you're in right now, what do you think you can do to me if I insist on touching you?" Lan Wangji stared hard at him. A spark seemed to flash in his eyes. This face, this expression, this gaze, this situation, and this person, they all made Wei Wuxian feel like his entire being was being consumed by a fire that incinerated all reason. And suddenly, he lost his mind. Throwing his previous reservations to the wind, he went for it. He plunged his other hand into the water and ruthlessly cupped a certain part of Lan Wangji. "Hang Guanzhen, don't try to pretend you don't like it when I touch you like this," he panted. As if he had been bitten by a venomous snake, or incensed by Wei Wuxian's action, Lan Wangji yanked at him hard. Wei Wuxian felt a wave of terrifying force assault him, and he was helplessly pulled to Lan Wangji's side. Water splashed, and things spiraled out of control. He didn't know who started it, but by the time Wei Wuxian was a little more clear-headed, he was already sitting on Lan Wangji's lap. It seemed he'd been embracing and kissing him in this position for a while. Their lips were inseparable. They were both soaking wet as they clung tightly to each other, but the only thing that remained in his mind was blazing passion and raging desire. That moment of clear-headedness was fleeting, barely lasting a second. Deep within him, a faint voice told him that it was wrong and inappropriate to be doing this kind of thing while Lan Wangji was drunk and unable to distinguish between right and wrong. But the voice was immediately snuffed out like a smoke by another breathless flurry of kisses. Both of Wei Wuxian's arms were wound around Lan Wangji's neck. He kissed him in every way he could manage until he could barely tear himself away. All those assurances he'd repeated to himself earlier. "I'll only ask him a few questions. I'll only help him wash. I won't do anything else," were thrown to the back of his mind. Then, he suddenly yelped aloud and broke their kiss to spit out a curse. "Lan Zhan, why did you bite me again? Are you a dog?" Lan Wangji's answer to this untimely and minor complaint was to bite his chin. Wei Wuxian, who was more fearful of biting than anything else, frowned a little. To retaliate, he reached a hand down to grope the part of Lan Wangji that he had just teased. Lan Wangji's expression abruptly changed. Wei Wuxian heaved a few gasps of air as he pecked the corner of Lan Wangji's mouth with his smiling lips. "How's that? Does it hurt? Are you angry yet?" He stripped off his completely soaked outer robes. "You know, Lan Zhan, I just love the way you look when you're angry." His voice was full of fearless excitement. Lan Wangji's skin was so scalding it felt like he might burst into flames. One arm locked firmly around Wei Wuxian's waist. He smacked the edge of the wooden tub with his free hand. The bathtub broke into pieces in an instant. The room became a complete mess and a tragic sight all at once. But they were much too preoccupied to care about such inconsequential things. Lan Wangji lifted Wei Wuxian and practically threw him on the bed. And I think that's where we're gonna have to stop. If you guys would like to buy this, you could purchase it on Amazon. I've got the link in my description. And if you guys would like to help support my channel and hang out with me, you can join my members only live stream. Tomorrow night, we're gonna actually hang out and play some MXTX Christmas games. We play Frantic Fanfic and Gartic Phone, which is like Pictionary. It's super fun. Hanging out with everyone is so awesome, and we can definitely talk about the new book if you'd like. If that's something you're interested in, you can click join down below. You can also check out my merch store. I've got some cool designs over there. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and happy reading. Bye!